Most people throw plastic bottles away without thinking twice. But today, I'm going to show you how to grow tomatoes and cucumbers in a simple plastic bottle, step by step, and why this small space gardening method actually works better than many traditional setups. If you live in an apartment, have a small balcony, or want to start container gardening at home without expensive pots, this method is perfect for you. And make sure you stay until the end, because I'll explain the most common mistake that kills tomato and cucumber plants in containers. Let's start with the bottle. We're using a large plastic water bottle, the kind most people recycle. First, we cut it in half. The bottom part will become our planter, and the top part can help us manage watering if needed. This is a simple DIY planter that costs nothing and works surprisingly well for growing vegetables at home. Now, before adding soil, we need to make drainage holes at the bottom. This step is absolutely essential. Tomatoes and cucumbers do not like sitting in water. If there is no drainage, the roots will rot, and the plant will slowly die. Many beginners fail here, not because they don't water enough, but because they water too much and the water has nowhere to go. After making several small holes at the bottom, we move on to the soil. For growing tomatoes in a plastic bottle or any small container, you need a light, well-draining potting mix. Do not use heavy garden soil. Heavy soil compacts easily, blocks oxygen, and suffocates the roots. Good container gardening always starts with the right soil. Fill the bottle about 3/4 full. Don't press the soil down too hard. Roots need oxygen as much as they need water. When growing vegetables in small containers, airflow in the soil is one of the keys to success. Now let's plant the tomato seedling. Tomatoes are special because they can grow additional roots along the buried stem. This means we can plant the tomato slightly deeper than usual. By burying part of the stem, the plant develops a stronger root system, which helps it absorb more nutrients and water. A strong root system means stronger growth and better fruit production later. After placing the tomato plant in the center, we gently add more soil around it and lightly press to stabilize the plant. Not too tight, just enough to hold it upright. Now let's move on to the cucumber. Growing cucumbers at home in containers is absolutely possible, but they behave a little differently from tomatoes. Cucumbers prefer loose soil and consistent moisture, but they do not like being planted too deep. Unlike tomatoes, do not bury the cucumber stem too much. Plant it at the same depth it was in its original container. Cucumbers grow fast, especially in warm conditions. If you are doing small space gardening on a balcony, make sure you provide some vertical support later. Even in a plastic bottle, cucumbers will try to climb. Now let's talk about watering, because this is where most people make mistakes when doing container gardening. Water slowly and evenly. Do not flood the bottle. The goal is to moisten the soil, not drown the roots. If water starts flowing quickly from the bottom holes, you are probably watering too fast. One trick to know if your plant needs water is to touch the soil about 2 centimeters below the surface. If it feels dry there, it's time to water. If it's still moist, wait another day. Overwatering is far more dangerous than underwatering in small containers. Sunlight is the next critical factor. Both tomatoes and cucumbers need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. If you are growing vegetables on a balcony, place the bottle where it receives maximum light. Without enough sun, the plant will grow tall and weak, with few flowers and little fruit. Another important tip for growing tomatoes in containers is feeding. Because the soil volume is small, nutrients get used up faster. After a couple of weeks, you can start using a balanced liquid fertilizer every 10 to 14 days. This helps maintain healthy growth and improves fruit development. Let me explain why growing tomatoes and cucumbers in a plastic bottle actually works. In small containers, roots adapt to limited space and become more efficient. The plant focuses on steady, controlled growth. As long as drainage, sunlight, and watering are correct, the results can be surprisingly good. This method is ideal for urban gardening, beginners, and anyone who wants to grow food at home without a traditional garden. You don't need a big backyard. You don't need raised beds. You just need consistency and attention to detail. Now, here's the mistake I mentioned at the beginning. Many people forget to check drainage after the first watering. Sometimes the holes get blocked by soil. Always check that water can escape freely. If it can't, fix it immediately. Root rot can destroy your plant in just a few days. As the plants grow, you can transplant them into larger containers if needed. But even if you don't, you'll be surprised how productive they can be in a simple plastic bottle. Growing your own tomatoes and cucumbers at home is not complicated. It's about understanding a few basic principles: drainage, light, soil quality, and correct watering. Once you control these 4 factors, even the smallest container can become a productive vegetable garden. If you found this helpful and want to see updates on how these plants grow, from planting to harvest, let me know in the comments. I'll document the full progress so you can see real results. Subscribe for more container gardening tips, small space gardening ideas, and practical ways to grow food at home. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. And remember, you don't need a big garden to grow your own vegetables. Sometimes, all you need is a bottle.